All right, what's up, Bulldogs? So I actually had a typo in the title here. It's pretty much the same thing, guys. So don't worry. But what I have here is we're gonna be talking about building a business on and selling books on Amazon, which is I had put eBay in there, but because I'm old school. Because back in the day, I actually started selling some books on eBay. I would go and find books and sell them. But I have Avery and Steve here who are really successful at this. And I wanted to bring them on for you guys because so many times I get questions in my inbox from you guys wanting to know like how to start a side business, what kind of side business to start. Because I know a lot of you, you read Millionaire Fastlane, MJ DeMarco, you want to get on the fast lane, you want to build a business. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find more people who have other businesses other than the kind that I'm doing and that maybe I've taught you guys about so that you can see what other options there are out there, right? Because I can teach you how to build the stuff that I've built. But so Avery and Steve, they've built a very successful business, selling books online on Amazon. They have a replicable process. And so I wanted to really bring them on to show you guys what this kind of business looks like, to see if this is something that you might be interested in. And of course they have a lot of experience in this. So welcome, Avery and Steve.
Hey, thanks for having us, John.
Pleasure being on your show. Thanks for inviting us.
I'm excited. I'm a Bulldog myself, so
yeah.
I'm super privileged to be here as well and add value to everybody. So let's do this.
Awesome, cool. So I mean, let's get started. Let's just talk about kind of what is the business that you guys are running. Like, how does it work, right? How do you make money, and what does it really entail?
So really what we do is we sell used books on Amazon. And I started this business. It kind of makes sense if I go back to when I started years ago in college. I was selling textbooks, and I would make more money selling my textbook than if I sold it to the bookstore. But it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work to list it on Amazon. I was like, well, shit, I did all this work just to list this item on Amazon and sell it. Why don't I sell my friends' books as well? So I sold my friends' books and then my friends' books, and it kind of exploded into, in my opinion, it exploded back then. It was a lot of money for me. I was paying thousands of dollars a semester in student loans to go to school, and I could supplement some income by selling my friends' books. I took a $700 loan from my dad, and I wrestled in college, so all my teammates would spread the word, and pretty soon all of campus was bringing me their books. I remember I would be in my dorm room and I'd be drinking some beer, and I would post on the campus app, and everybody, all of a sudden, like, this is so awesome. The phone would vibrate. So I would post, hey guys, I'm in dorm room 314. Oh shit. There goes water everywhere.
No, that's a beer. I'm thinking. Hold on.
A beer. It's not alcoholic. And now it's all over the floor. So I'd be in there drinking just like this right here. And so many people would just come in. So many people would swarm my dorm room, and I would just sit there with cash. I'd pay them like 20% of what I was getting. So
okay,
if I knew I could sell it for $100 on Amazon, I would pay him $25 for it. And that's really where it started. And then after that, Steve's, aka Rake and Profit on YouTube, he's been doing this for years. And he has some YouTube videos I used to watch back when I was in college. And I would see videos of him like going in thrift stores, and there's this other guy that's pretty big. He would be going into thrift stores, scanning books with an app that would tell you if it was profitable. And I instantly thought it was a scam. I was like, there's no way people buy used books anymore. Like I thought only college students bought books. Like literally I was like, people don't buy physical books anymore. But then, and it was kind of silly to think that because I read physical books myself. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this thing a shot. So I remember that summer, I was taking like a leap year, and I could have gone to graduate school or done whatever I wanted to. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to make some money on the side. So I was doing landscaping. I was going into the thrift store, and I tried the whole thrift store thing. And I was so unsuccessful with it. So I would go into thrift stores. I don't know if you've ever seen this before. Have you, John? Like people going in thrift stores, scanning books?
Oh yeah. In fact, I tried to do that back in the day, like in the eBay days. That's why I said eBay in the title. Was because, and I had like some success, but it was so many. It came down to the point where what I ended up doing was I was selling books for 1 penny and then charging shipping. and then it was like I would make like a couple bucks on shipping.
Yeah, there were different rules back then. There were a lot of people making money on penny books. They changed a lot of the rules on that stuff now. But yeah, that was a thing, man.
Yeah. So I was in the thrift store and I was scanning all the books and I was just like, there's no way anybody's making money doing this. I actually got kicked out of, I've never been kicked out of a thrift store since, but the very first thrift store I was in, I got kicked out for scanning books. Probably because I looked so sketchy. I was probably just giving off sketchy vibes.
Yeah.
Like, real. I've gone to, no joke, I've gone to hundreds of thrift stores since then. I've never been kicked out. So I did that, and I started living in my car shortly after that. And this is still like the gap year that I'm talking about. I coached wrestling. I wrestled in college, and then I coached wrestling afterwards. And, you know, it was a skill that I cultivated for 10 years.
Yeah.
And guess how much I got paid for 3 months of work?
For 3 months of work? I don't know, maybe like.
It was a high school, Metro Nashville high school.
I'm going to guess maybe then $4,000.
I got paid $1,000 because I was like the assistant coach. So I had to split it with the head coach. It was ridiculous. I put in so much work too.
Yeah.
Every weekend, my weekends were gone. Anyway, I was like, this skill that I've cultivated, wrestling, is not going to make me a lot of money unless I learned how to market it or do something differently with it. But I wasn't a super successful collegiate wrestler. I was successful in high school, did my thing in college. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to live my life. I'm not going to go to graduate school yet. I'm going to live in my car, travel the country, go see the Grand Canyon, go see Washington State, go all over the country. And the only thing making me money was selling books on Amazon. And that was the thing making me money while I was sleeping. But it wasn't making me a lot of money. So I started doing that. I went to libraries, thrift stores, traveled the country. And then I went to a booksellers conference in Los Angeles, LA. And that's where I met a bunch of people who are doing this full time. And once I met these people, I was like, wow, like they're using advanced sourcing techniques. They're not just going to thrift stores. They're not just going to libraries. They're taking this to the next level. And that's when I learned, you know, you can really take this and run with it. And, you know, some people are making a couple $1,000s a month doing this, but I met people doing 7 figures there. And since then, this is 2018. So since then, I'm just about to cross the $1 million mark in gross sales. So I took it and I ran with it, and I found, you know, there's tons of books in America. There's tons of books in the world. You just need to find the right methods to get the books. And I found out there's not just, you know, 2 ways to find books. I thought at the time it was college campuses and thrift stores. There's actually like 50 plus different ways. So
yeah, when we first met, what, last year?
Yeah, it was actually, that's crazy to think. That was early last year. So almost a year and a half now, almost 2 years now.
Yeah, almost 2 years ago. He was doing about $12,000 a month of books on Amazon. And now you've scaled it to, on average.
Yeah, so now I'm doing, it's kind of hard to say on average.
But what have you done so far this year?
This year I've done over 600,000. So
oh wow.
Yeah. So, but textbook season is where most of the sales come in. Like I did probably 120,000 just in textbook season. And I also sell on multiple accounts, so it's kind of complicated to add them up. But yeah, over 600,000 this year.
Yeah, the average person's not going to do that much right off of the bat. Like I've been doing it for over 5 years. He's been doing it for over 3 years. One of the things that I'm most proud of is 6 years ago, my mom, she was 59 years old at the time. She was, you know, probably 40 pounds overweight. Where she is now, she was just sitting on the couch watching Lifetime for Women. I mean, to get a little personal, like the relationship with my father was never that great. So she was just sitting around all the time doing nothing. And I was full time on eBay and Amazon. And I taught her how to sell books on Amazon. And now she's 66. She retired 2 years ago by selling books. And she's the complete opposite of Avery. You know, he's young, crazy, freaking dropping seltzer waters all over. By the way, you should get a towel because we're going to get electrocuted. But my mom, she goes to 2 to 3 thrift stores 6 times a week and makes $3,000 to $5,000 a month, probably $1,000 to $2,000 profit at 66 years old. It's all over my YouTube channel. I pimp her out on Instagram. And, you know, it's just, this is something that really anyone could do. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter if you're young, if you're old. This isn't a business all about making, you know, 600,000 on Amazon. He's, you know, obviously has a lot of business skills and stuff, but anyone can make a couple $1,000s doing this. And, you know, that's what we're passionate about, helping people to do that.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I think a lot of people, I mean, it's hard. Cause like when I talk to people, I'm like, you got to build a serious business and make a lot of money. Like I kind of, but not everyone really wants to do that. And some people, they kind of eventually want to, but I think if I looked at the majority of the people that are in like Bulldog Mindset membership or that are in my audience, just like if they could just make it like an extra $1,000 or $2,000 a month that would be huge, right? And it's kind of like that's a conceivable thing, whereas making $10,000 a month or so is not really conceivable. So it's like, I think a lot of people are looking for something that could just get them there. Just even $500 a month, like then they could really believe that it's possible.
Yeah. And that's one thing that we like to teach, you know, on our YouTube videos and on Instagram and stuff is, you know, it's one step at a time. There's too many fake gurus and people that are coming on and, you know, making a lot of money selling courses and doing, you know how it is. If you go on Facebook now, there's a million opportunities and everyone's got the best opportunity. What I've come to realize is every opportunity is a good opportunity if it's the right fit for you and if you're willing to put in the work and put in the time and learn how to do it, you know. So, you know, this is definitely a good opportunity, but it's not for everybody. It just, you know, it depends.
And how do you, I think probably one of the questions I think that a lot of people might have right now is about what about the saturation of the market? So, you know, if a bunch of people want to do this, is there going to be, you know, is there going to be too much competition? You know, is this something that they can actually do? You know, and let's say that, you know, 100 people decide to start doing this, right? So how big is the market and what do you think about that?
So there's really 4 main ways to get books. And then other than those 4 main ways, there's a couple other ways, but there's really 4 main categories. Number 1 is thrift stores. Number 2 is libraries. Number 3 is college campuses. And then number 4 is picking up the books from people's home or getting them directly from the shelves of people's house. You guys see there's a bookshelf. I can't even point the right direction, but there's a bookshelf behind me. And a lot of people have books at home that they want to part with. So out of those methods, the libraries and thrift stores are the first to become hyper-saturated. So what happens is one of the YouTubers, maybe Rakin gets a shout out from Gary Vee, or another one recently did, Breezy Resells did. And everybody flocks to the thrift stores. Everybody goes to the libraries, but nobody really hits the college campuses and nobody really puts the effort in to get books directly from people's homes. So what those other 2 require is having somewhat of a brand, not a huge brand, but somewhat of, you know, they say in business, perception's reality. You have to kind of not dress yourself up, but dress your business up nice. Either have a website, have a Facebook page, have a big boy voice when you pick up the phone and call the colleges, or when you post on, I really advocate Nextdoor and Facebook Marketplace, and Craigslist is still really good.
And even my mom's story, we'll share that after too, what we just found.
Yeah. So networking with liquidation companies is also really good. And what you do is you build a relationship and you frame yourself as a real business, and then they want to do business with you. So when it comes to oversaturation, there's definitely waves of oversaturation with libraries and thrift stores, but there's still so much opportunity there, like in a crazy amount. People are just lazy. The hustle, the arbitrage opportunity is always going to be there. Being able to go into a thrift store and find a book that's selling for more on Amazon and less in the thrift store, that's always going to be there. People are going to leave. There's books without barcodes. That was what I was doing. I was picking up books. I didn't even bring them over here. There's books without barcodes on the back. There's books with barcodes on the back that have stickers over the barcode. There's so many different opportunities to find books that people aren't able to just scan. There's a scanner you can use, and this talks to your phone. So people, the traditional way of doing it is scanning it and going in a thrift store and pulling $50, $100 profit. But there's so much profit being left on the shelves. So hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and just the other day, as an example, we had gotten a phone call from, and this is a great tip for everybody listening, build relationships with clean out companies, whether that's companies that clean out estates or foreclosures, because a lot of times when they clean stuff out, you know, there's a lot of people who collect various things. There could be people who collect sports cards or books or all different types of things. And we got a call and we got 5,000 books for free from a company, and we paid someone a couple $100 to get a U-Haul, bring it to us. And I just got done. Actually, I was in Connecticut helping my mom. We processed all the books. She's going to make probably 20 to 30,000 profit after all is said and done. And these were books that we got literally for free. So
yeah, so that kind of combines the branding and also getting books directly from people's houses. Literally, these books came out of someone's house. So that opportunity is endless. It's just finding out how to get into their house legally.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. In fact, it's kind of funny. Like I totally believe it, because this is kind of bad. People are not going to like this. But when I finish with a book, like I buy a lot of physical books, and there's some of them that I keep on my shelf, like the best ones. But a majority of the physical books that I buy, when I'm done reading them, I throw them in the trash can. because I don't want to have it sitting around. Like I don't care. So I would, if I would give those books away to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, if someone was like, oh, when you're done with books, I'd come by every week and pick up your books or whatever, sure, or every month or so. I would do that. So I imagine there's a ton of people
finding somebody like you. So next door is going to have more people, more stay-at-home moms, more community-based people. So you're probably not going to be lingering there, but there's definitely going to be a group of people, some type of community where there's more people like you, maybe self-help people, and to tap into any weird community. And there's so many weird communities out there. Like homeschool communities, jiu-jitsu. I sold a jiu-jitsu book for $250. There's just so many different opportunities out there of niche communities to enter and say, hey, look, I'll be your book guy.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely can see this. This sounds very similar. And it was hard for me to believe like that you could do something like this, but I have a friend of mine that his story is very similar to yours. He sold Magic the Gathering cards, and he started off just like going to some shows and stuff or tournaments, and he would just like trade cards, and he just like would buy cards at like 25% of the value, and then he would sell them, and he'd sell them on eBay. And then he got to a point where he was doing like $1 million a year worth of sales, and he would just buy cards. Like people send him cards in the mail now, and he buys them at 20% of the value. And then, and he sells them, and it's like, it seems like an unbelievable thing, but I mean, I saw him do it and
he did the same thing. At some point it became less of a hustle and more of a brand. So now he has them coming to him, which is similar to how I built my business. I have books coming to me. So at some point in any business, I always say there's always going to be the arbitrage opportunity. There's always going to be the book on the shelf that you can take and sell for an extra couple of dollars, because that is hard work. Being able to go out, find that book and flip it. You have to literally walk into a thrift store. A lot of people don't want to do that. To build your business, to be able to scale, you have to find a way to get the books to come to you. And that's the next level. So for the people that say, is it too saturated? The front end it's going to have waves of saturation, but ultimately it's always going to be there, because not everybody wants to do that type of work forever. Eventually you are going to graduate to having a business where you're going to have some sort of brand to have books come to you, or in his case, Magic the Gathering cards.
Now, how does it work with, so I did, again, for a little bit of time when I was first starting out, I did some kind of eBay arbitrage. I did books, right? And then I did like other items, CDs and DVDs and games and stuff like that. And I was selling, and one of the hassles that I ran into was that when I got to a certain level, it was just like shipping. I was constantly shipping stuff. So what, do you have to ship a lot of stuff? Do you use FBA? I guess it's probably not profitable enough to do FBA, or how does it work?
We only do FBA. So a lot of people think that FBA, for everyone watching, stands for Fulfillment by Amazon. So what's really cool about this business is Amazon has warehouses all over the country, tons of them. These are gigantic, huge warehouses that are 1 million square feet or bigger.
Water's empty.
Yep. And essentially what you do is, think about eBay. When you buy an item on eBay, you bring it home, you have to store it, you have to take pictures, you have to create a listing, you have to put it on your inventory shelf, then you have to find it, and then you have to ship it to the customer, then you have to deal with customer service, and then there's refunds. It's annoying. Let's be honest. Yeah. I did it for years. I sold hundreds of thousands of dollars on eBay. Amazon's completely different. With Amazon FBA, number one, you make more money because people are willing to pay a lot more to buy from Prime. Who here, put a 1 in the comments if anyone here is a Prime member, right? I probably everybody's a Prime member. So with Amazon FBA, you go out, and let's just say you go to a thrift store, just for an example, and you buy 30 books. You bring them all home. What you do is you put all 30 books in a box. You label each book. Amazon helps you with this. You put one label on the outside of the box, and you ship it to Amazon. You are done. You are literally done. Amazon's going to store it in their warehouse. When it sells, they're going to pick it, they're going to pack it, they're going to ship it, and they're going to send you a paycheck. And if there's any refunds, customer issues, if things get damaged, if things get lost, Amazon deals with everything. This literally sounds way too good to be true. And when I first learned about Amazon FBA, I was like, there's no way that I'm going to make more money and spend less time. But that's why Amazon FBA is so attractive, because in most businesses, what are you spending most of your time doing? You're fulfilling products, you're dealing with customer service, you're dealing with logistics. There's just so many things. With Amazon FBA, you actually make more money, because on Amazon, you can either buy from two options purchasing from Amazon, which is Prime. People think they're buying from Amazon. It's actually third-party sellers like us most of the time. Or you could buy from a merchant, someone who ships from their house. Merchants take like 5 to 10 days to ship. Refund policy stinks. So everyone wants to buy from Amazon. So you can ask for a premium. It's called a premium. That's a good one.
There you go.
You can ask for a prime bump. So, for example, let me see this book right here.
This book's a good example right here.
Why don't you actually scan this book and give them? You can tell them the example of the difference between merchant.
See if I can scan that barcode.
And FBA, but there's usually a price difference. So sometimes you could sell a book for $30 as a merchant, which is like an eBay seller, or $60 as FBA, and you can get that.
So this book is currently selling for $23 from a merchant, or you could buy it from Amazon Prime for $54. So when you go on Amazon, they're not going to make it easy to see the $23 offer. When you go to Amazon, it's going to say $54 used, or there's also 30 other offers at $23. Now, my dad thinks that's unethical. He's like, they should put the lowest price first, but ordering from Prime, you are getting 2-day shipping. So there is the value that you're getting the order faster. Now, Amazon's not in the storage-based business, which they're storing all of these books for us. We pay a couple cents per month. They're not in the storage-based business. They're in the selling business. They want to sell as many books as possible. So they try and sell the inventory that's in their possession first. So you're actually likely going to sell your items faster by using Amazon Prime, and you can also sell them for more.
Yeah, so this is why books is so awesome, and not even just books, CDs, DVDs, anything on Amazon, anything, because all your main job, this is how you get paid on Amazon. You need to find good deals. Once you find good deals, you ship it off to Amazon and you're literally done. So the magic is in sourcing. That's the top of the funnel, right? So for anyone who's interested in marketing or a business, you always want to look at your business as a funnel, and you need to be constantly putting new things into your funnel. Well, with Amazon,
the app is called Scout IQ Indigo TV. That's the name of the app. There's 2 apps you can use. There's one called Scout Lee, and there's another called Scout IQ. So whichever one you prefer, they're basically the same app. This is created by a bookseller himself. He sells 7 figures plus each year. So I trust this app more. There's little fine-tuned things it does, but they're basically the same app.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for answering that. He was very adamant about getting the question answered. So that's good though. I like enthusiasm. So that makes a lot of sense. That's interesting because I remember when I was doing the eBay stuff, and the biggest hassle was because I was selling some electronics at some point, and I would sell like a laptop or something or a phone, and then I would get that dreaded like return. or like a complaint, like, oh, it's got a scratch on it, and you're like, oh, come on, you know what I mean? And on like a $500 order or something like that, and then it was just such a pain in the ass, especially trying to get it back and then having them ship it back to you and all that stuff. So like not having to deal with that and deal with the shipping would have I would have probably kept doing the business if I had something like that. So
yeah. And speaking of shipping, John, shipping has gotten increasingly expensive over the years. Who here has shipped anything recently? I mean, it's insane, and that's one of the downsides of eBay right now. Shipping is so expensive. Well, with Amazon, like I said, if you get 30 books, you put them all in a box and you ship them off. You might think, well, Steve, John, I don't want to. That's going to be way too expensive. Let me ask you a question, John. I know I've kind of pre-framed this already, so you probably know where I'm going. But what would you guess? Say you had a box of books, 30 pounds of books. How much do you think it would cost to ship out?
Well, 30 pounds.
Say you were going from like Connecticut to California, or maybe it wasn't even that far. Maybe it's on the same coast.
Well, I would ship it book rate, because then I think it maybe would be like $20. But if it's not book rate, it's probably like $100.
Exactly. So, $20-$30 would, probably be what it would actually cost to ship it out, which is somewhat substantial if you're going to ship out 30 books. Well, if you're going to ship out 30 books, 30 paperbacks, I mean, a lot of times you can ship it out for $5, $6, $7 because Amazon and UPS partnered together. So it's some of the cheapest shipping you can possibly have to ship to Amazon. So Amazon's doing everything they can for you to ship them their products as cheap as possible.
It's 3 times as cheap as media mail. So the book rate you were talking about is 3 times as cheap as that. So instead of paying 60 cents a pound, you're paying like 20 cents a pound.
Oh, wow. So cheaper than, so So my estimate of like 20 or 30 bucks is book rate, but then it would be like a third, like $5,
You'd be paying
$6.
about $6 give or take.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that makes it a lot more affordable. And then Amazon takes obviously a cut for the FBA stuff, right? So you have to have like enough of a margin
So
there.
Amazon always takes 15%, whether or
Okay.
not you do FBA or sell it yourself. But there's also FBA fees. So for a book like this, there's going to be the FBA fee for them to pack it in nice cardboard, put the label on it, ship it to the customer. That's going to be, those are the main FBA fees. You're paying for them to ship it directly to the customer. There's also storage fees. There's a couple other fees, but those are like super, super small. The main fees are going to be the 15% cut. So let's say I sell this book for $100. You're paying Amazon $15. Okay. Then there's going to be the fees, which generally for a book about this size might be $8 probably FBA fees. For this $6.50 to $8, but this is a bigger book, so probably around $8. And those are the main fees you're dealing with. You're also dealing with storage fees, but that's like a couple cents a month. And so this app determines all of that. It factors all of that in. So when you buy a book, you're not thinking, oh, this is selling for $35 and you're not factoring in any fees. No, you're factoring in all the fees, and it's telling you after all the fees, you're still going to make $35 profit.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. So you can kind of figure that out ahead of time.
If you guys look at the screen right now, you can see the breakdown of those fees.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
Enter the buy cost, so whatever you're paying for it. So if you're paying a student $20 for a book like this, you could enter, okay, I'm paying him 20. How much profit would I make then? Okay, 35 minus 20 is 15. So.
Okay. And I imagine you could use that for getting the books too, right? Because I think maybe you talk to someone and they're like, oh, hey, well, what are you going to sell this book for? You're going to sell it for like, and then you show them like, look, here's exactly what it's going to cost me. I have to make some money in it. This is why
you could. In some scenarios that might work. Other scenarios it might be like, oh my gosh, you're making $100 off this. I had no idea. I thought it was worth this. I was going to throw it.
Oh, okay.
People think books are worthless. That's one of the reasons why we love selling books, is because, I mean, go to any thrift store, garage sale, yard sale, Facebook Marketplace. People, they just treat books like trash. I mean, I know us and your audience, I mean, if they're following you, obviously they love learning and they're all about mindset, but it's somewhat rare. You know, a lot of people, they don't value education. They don't value books. They think they're trash and they just give them away. They don't think there's any value in them. So that's a good thing for us.
Let's see. Unique 79 has been asking, wanting to know if COVID has affected your business.
COVID definitely has affected my business in a good way. And lots of my friends say the same thing. We've noticed an increase in online sales. Now, luckily, my methods don't require going into thrift stores and libraries currently. So the sourcing side of things, some people are suffering there. They're having to pivot on how they get books, but everybody's benefiting from the increase in online consumers on Amazon. So I think it was like 12% of consumer sales used to be on the internet. Now it's 52% after COVID, which isn't super surprising, but that's almost 5x. Wow. So 12% of consumer sales went where it used to be the internet. Now it's 52%. Amazon used to make up 38% of online sales. Now they make up 60%. People aren't going to Google to search for items anymore. They go to Amazon to search for items. So I've noticed a crazy increase in my sales, and mentors of mine who are doing millions each year have also noticed, and that's probably a better sample to pull from. Mm-hmm. Their huge inventories are noticing an increase in sales as well because people are now online.
Yeah, it's a supply and demand thing right now. The supply chains are all messed up with COVID and everything. So everybody's going on to Amazon, and how price works on Amazon is based on supply and demand. So when you have, less supply because the supply chains, there's issues. People aren't able to go to the thrift stores. They're not able to bring in as many books. So there used to maybe, say on a specific listing like this one, maybe there used to be 20 people selling it for $50. Well, now there might only be 10 or 11 people selling it, but there's the same demand, if not more. So that increases the price. So for a lot of businesses, they're suffering. Luckily for us, we're grateful that, with an internet business, it hasn't been affected, at least not yet.
And I coach dozens of, if not hundreds, if you include my YouTube and Instagram following, on how to do this. And we're pivoting towards going into people's houses. Yeah. So what we're doing instead of if you have the thrift stores open nearby, you go in those. If you have the libraries open, go in those. But we're pivoting, and we found that there's better books too, direct off people's shelves, because they're raw, they're not picked over. Nobody else has looked at the books yet. So, and plus you can provide more value this way too, because like someone like you probably feel a little bit guilty when you throw away that book. Maybe you don't, but you probably, if someone offered you, $1 for it, or if someone even offered to take it away for free, you would have been happy, because now the book's getting back into a reader's hand.
Right.
And you know that you're helping a small business. So you're doing two things. So you're like, wow, I'm helping this person out with their small business, and my book's going to be read again. I'm super happy about that.
Exactly. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I can definitely see that happening. Now, what about as far as I guess, what does it look like just like on a daily basis of what you're doing in the business? Like, what does your work day look like? Maybe if you can just describe what it is to run the business.
So 2018 was when I was living in my car. That was all hustle. I was just going in thrift stores, libraries, shipping stuff, FBA. 2019, I started to get into more liquidation deals, and I would drive places that were closing down. And that's really when I started to skyrocket my business success. I did 16,000 all from thrift stores and libraries that January, textbook season, when students go back to school. That was before any liquidation deals. I started doing liquidation deals, and in the off season, which means not during textbook season, not during when kids are going back to school, I started doing 20,000 each year. And that's when I kind of really realized, okay, I'm not going to go to graduate school now. I'm going to try and focus on this and see where it goes. So then I just kept grinding. I worked with colleges to have them ship me books, worked with some libraries to have them ship me books, tried to find more ways to make this an actual business, because I've proven the concept of me just hustling in my car. I can make this work, just driving around Nashville. There was one bookstore in Nashville. I don't live in Nashville anymore, so I'll go ahead and say the bookstore. It's called McKay's used bookstore. It's giant. I don't know if it's the biggest bookstore in America, but I would bet that chain has probably top 10 bookstores in America. It's huge. And I would go in there and I would just spend hours a day sourcing books. And that's really, once I got books to come to me, I could still go out and hustle and make a lot of money. But having the books come to me was a way to have a systematic business that could predictably generate income every single month. So then I also launched this service called restrictedinventory.com, which is where I was vlogging my journey. Gary Vaynerchuk, right? Mm-hmm. He influenced me to vlog my journey. Like I was vlogging my journey, cell phone style, like vertical style on my cell phone, posting vertical YouTube videos before vertical YouTube videos were a thing. Like it was terrible. Like go back and watch my YouTube videos. I didn't delete them. They're absolutely terrible. So I did that for 3 years. So I had a bit of a following, but I never monetized my following at all. But then I found out I could sell certain books they couldn't. And everybody just started sending me their books. And then that textbook season, I did 80,000. So this is 2019. And that's really just when it exploded from doing 20,000 from, liquidations and thrift stores and used bookstores to 80,000. And then it stayed at 80,000 for, several months after that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like then if someone wants to get started with this. Oh, and by the way, guys, before I forget, if you're listening, we're not going to have a huge amount more time. So if you want to, go into the details, and I know at this point, I'm trying to kind of give the higher level stuff. But we're going to jump into the details on a really detailed webinar. There's a link down below. So if you want to check that out, if this sounds like something that you're interested in, we're going to go a lot more into depth. Once we can do that. So go check it out, sign up. It's totally free to sign up for the webinar.
Yeah, in that webinar, we'll be covering the 5 secrets to starting a book business. And I'll go ahead and give a few away right now. Scanning, which we already talked about. Sourcing, which is where to find the books. Listing the books on Amazon using the FBA method Steve discussed. And then pricing your book for maximum profit, and also scaling your book business, which I kind of harped on a little bit there. And we'll be doing a live Q&A at the very end. So
cool. Yeah. So guys, go check that out. Go sign up if you want to. This way we can get into the real details of it. Right now, I just want to give you the kind of overview of what they're doing. But one question I had about it, or what it seems to me like from what you're describing then is, so if someone wants to get started with this, like realistically, because I like to be as realistic as possible. I hate when people are promising, oh, you're going to make all this money from this business, like start a Shopify store and you'll make $20,000 a month in the first 90 days, or
$1 million the first month, man.
And it's like
mindset, man.
And I believe you can make money, obviously, any of these things, right? This is one of the things, is like people always call people scammers, and I'm like, no, any of these things will make you money. It's just people aren't honest about the work. And so what it sounds like to me with this kind of business is that someone starting out, and tell me if I'm wrong, they kind of got to do the hustle. They kind of got to go and hit the pavement. They got to go out there to thrift stores, maybe post on Nextdoor and go over to people's houses and look at books and start dialing some colleges and building relationships and going out there and spending, hours scanning books and doing that kind of labor intensive work. But and if they're willing to do that, then it's almost guaranteed that they can make money, because unlike, like for example, when I help people build YouTube channels, like I can give you the gut, like there's a lot of luck involved in that. Like I can't give you a predictable model that says if you do this, you will absolutely grow YouTube business, right? There's no right. Whereas it sounds like it is more formulaic. Like if they're willing to do these steps, they will absolutely, it's almost guaranteed that they're going to make money through the hustle. And then when they put in that work over time, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, whatever, they're putting in that work, they start establishing relationships, and then they get to the point where the books are coming to them and they're not having to go and source the stuff manually. Is that accurate?
100% accurate. And the cool thing is the way that we do it is we have, like we were saying before, an app where we're able to scan all the books. So when you scan the books, and we'll be talking about it during the webinar, it tells you how many times it sells, how often it sells, how much profit, how many reviews. So this is like, there's obviously always a little bit of a risk when you buy something, but like 95% of the time when you buy a book, you know how fast it's going to sell, you know how much profit it's going to make, and you can weigh out the risk and rewards. So when you're scanning books, you don't want to buy a book for $10 that only sells once every 6 months and it's only going to make you $3. But a lot of these books you can pay 50 cents, $1, $2, and they're selling 10, 15 times a month, and you can make 5, 10, 20, 30. If you find some textbooks, $40, $50. So it's not only, upfront, the risk is reduced, but this isn't like, for example, you mentioned Shopify, and then there's like Amazon private label and wholesale. Like I have friends who are successful in all of them, but what they don't tell you is you have to wear 30 different hats. It takes 1 to 2 years to really get going. You have to have 50 different SOPs and standard operating procedures and business. Like you have to have LLCs, and you have to like have a team of lawyers and a huge team to like run ads for you and a million different things. Like this is really easy. There's a learning curve, of course, like learning how to do this stuff and listing, but you're essentially just going out, finding books, you scan them, you know how much money it's worth, you put them in a box, you ship them off, and you make money. And there's ways to reduce that. So this isn't like an overly complicated business model. If my mom was able to do it, and she's doing it at 66, doing $3,000 to $5,000 a month, part-time, and she has no tech skills. When she started, she didn't even know how to click a mouse. I had to teach her, Mommy, click a mouse on this side. This is why it's not doing what you think. I mean, but the honest truth is, most people who start any business, even an easy model like this, are going to fail because they don't have the Bulldog mindset, or they haven't educated themselves enough or built a foundation. Because any business you start, you're going to have to deal with crap. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. And, Avery and I, we talk about this all the time. Success comes down to 80% psychology and really only 20% strategy. So this works, Shopify works, YouTube works, but are you going to get it to work? And how long are you going to hang in there until you give up and quit? Because that's how people fail. But this is an easy model. This doesn't take years to get results. I mean, one of our friends, who are those two people we talked to on the call the other day, and they just did their first 1,000 in sales?
Yeah, TJ and Lisa.
TJ and Lisa. They've only been, we've been teaching them for about 2 weeks. Was it 2 weeks or a month?
It's over a month now. It's like probably 6 weeks.
Okay, 6 weeks. And they just made their first 1,000 in sales. And
but they have like probably almost 15 grand projected profit from the inventory they've sent in. So the way this works is it's all about building your inventory up. So you can go out and you can find a bunch of inventory and send it in, but it doesn't, what matters for that month is how much inventory do you have existing at Amazon, because you're going to sell about 20% of that. So let's say you get 1,000 in inventory, which is completely doable for people. Now, all you need to do is maintain that 1,000. So if you have 1,000 in inventory, you're probably selling about 200 books each month, which comes out between $4,000 and $5,000 in sales. Now, out of those sales, you're probably taking home half of that. So you're taking home anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500. And this is completely part-time, like his mom doing it on the side. His mom scanned super slow, by the way. I scanned 1,000 books per hour. She probably scans like 150 per hour.
My mom doesn't follow any of the things that we teach. Like we've tried to optimize her scanners and listing software and repricers to automate the process. And she's like, Steven, I want to do it my way. Leave me alone. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do her thing. And we call her Mama Profit. So everyone on YouTube recognizes her and shouts her out at the thrift stores. But yeah.
So the climb to whatever inventory goal you have, and once you reach 2,000 in inventory, that's really where you start questioning, should I still be working my job or not? But let's say you just want to keep it at 1,000 and keep that consistent side hustle income coming. You hit it there, then all you need to do is find a way to consistently source 50 books every single week. And once you do that, that might sound like a lot for some people. It may not. It doesn't sound like a lot to me because I know, with my students, I have them go through this. I call it the 7-day challenge, where it's 7 days to get 200 books, which is $1,000 to $2,000 in profit. And it's all about trying different sourcing methods. So I gave away the 4 sourcing methods that or the main 4 sourcing methods that you can use as a bookseller. But what you do is you really hit all those at once. So you go every direction. You go how to get them from people's houses. You go, how can I get them from the thrift stores, libraries? You try everything, because Chicago is different from Miami. Miami is different than Lake Havasu, Arizona. Anyone from Lake Havasu, Arizona in here? I like saying small cities, and there's always like somebody in the YouTube comments that's like, I'm from there. The small cities, there's every place is going to be different. Like large cities bring a much different type of opportunity than small cities do. But small towns, I guess, they still bring a different type of opportunity. There's probably not as much competition there. So it's all about finding what works. And those first few weeks, those first few months are going to be the hardest, because you're going to walk into a thrift store and get nothing. You're going to, and traveling the country, living in my car, I realized this. I thought it was a luxury going from city to city, but it was a luxury because I was always getting new inventory, but I didn't know which places were strikeouts and which places were really good. So I would go into a place and I'd be like, oh man, this looks amazing, but it would suck. So it's good. Like Nashville, I could tell you exactly which thrift stores are good to go to. Miami, I can tell you exactly which ones are good to go to and which ones are not good to go to, because I have that experience. So getting your inventory to 1,000, then consistently replenishing that, 50, 200 each month, 50 every week is what's going to allow you to keep that side income coming. And it's going to get easier with time because you're going to get better with it. And eventually, if you do hustle hard enough, long enough, the brand opportunity will present itself eventually to where maybe like the Magic Gathering guy, cards will come to you. There's so many different ways to have books come to you. And that's going to manifest itself in different ways for different people, depending on what approach you take initially.
Okay, I like that. That makes sense. I feel like 50 books a week doesn't seem like an insurmountable.
Okay. I just never know what that sounds like to most people, because I'm holding a really big book right now. So people are like, 50 of these?
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it comes down to like just, like you said, you're going to go into some thrift stores and you're going to get nothing. But then you're going to like figure out, you keep on doing it. And then you figure out, oh, I did this one, or I found this one place and it worked for me. And then you just keep repeating the things that work. Like you find things that don't work. And then once you have a few different sources, then you probably get to a point where it's easy to get 50 books a week because you have reliable places you can go. And that, just like one of my original businesses that was when I first started out, is I had gumball machines. And like I put them in different locations, and it was like I started to figure out, I was like, okay, I might as well just pull it from this location, because there was certain locations where it was like, I know if I go there, I'm gonna have like a bag full of quarters every time that I go there. So just find more of those spots.
Pareto principle holds true in every business. 20% of your efforts result in 80% of your profits. So strip back what didn't work. Don't go to the same places that didn't yield profit, and then keep doing that over and over again.
So would you say that if someone, again, like I was comparing this, and this is kind of one of the reasons, guys, by the way, that I wanted to kind of present this was because a lot of the things that I talk about in business and like building my business is around building an audience and building a brand, which is good, but it's a long haul type of thing, right? I always tell like my coaching clients, hey, it's going to take us like a year or 2 years to get to the point where you're actually even making money. But there's no formula. Like I can't give you a formula. Like I can give you kind of some steps, but would you say like something like this, that you could give kind of a definite set of steps that people could follow, and almost, again, you can never guarantee success, but it's almost like if you do this, you will get results, right? Because that's something that I've struggled with the kind of business consulting that I do is like, I can't really give you that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like for YouTube and things like that, I can give you tips and stuff, but I can't give you the exact.
That's why I
thing.
never did consulting with YouTube,
Yeah.
even though I have, over 17 million views and hundreds of thousands of subscribers. It's like, it's one of those things that's hard to get results unless that person's like super dedicated for the long term.
Yeah.
Okay. So if someone
numbers, to answer your question, it's like for every 1,000 books you scan, there's going to be a certain amount that are profitable.
Right.
So out of 1,000 books, generally it's going to be 50. Generally it's 5%. So the app actually tells you your acceptance rate. Right now it's kind of skewed. You say it's 58% because I've been scanning a lot of my own books. You can see a lot of the books I read are profitable, but I've been using these as demonstrations. But really what it comes down to is, can you find thousands of books to scan frequently? And there's books everywhere, and there's so many different ways to get the book. So really what it comes down to is sourcing strategies and getting your phone in front of books and scanning them. And if you can do that, if you can hustle, if you're willing to work hard, absolutely. Anybody can do this without an audience, without any type of, you don't even really need money, because I started this with no money until I took the $700 loan from my dad, because I realized kids want money for their textbooks, but I could find textbooks in the dumpster.
Yeah.
People like you were trying to get rid of books for free. I didn't even know about that method back then. You can literally post on Craigslist, I'll pick up your books for free, and dozens of people hit you up. You can call up local cleanup companies like Steve. They actually reached out to him because there are perks to having a following. People know him as the eBay, the Amazon guy. So someone reached out to him, but anybody can do this if you just call the companies up, if you get books in front of you. And so, yeah, you can be antisocial. In fact, there are a lot of antisocial people that do this. A lot of weirdos that, just don't talk much.
A lot of weirdos.
They just don't talk much. They just have their phone and they're hunched over and they're scanning.
Yeah.
And you're like, what are they doing over there? And
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I like how you kind of boiled it down to like a numbers game, because I think that's a big motivator. Is like, if I always talk about trusting the process, and it's like you just have to have some kind of process to trust. And if you tell me, okay, if I scan 1,000 books, I'll hit my 50, pretty much going to hit my 50 quota, then that makes it something that now I can say, okay, well, I can find a way to scan 1,000 books. And so it's, I like to connect it so that it's like, okay, if I do this, then I'm pretty much going to get that result. So
yeah. And back to the YouTube comparison, like I love YouTube. Like I've made a ton of money from it. I've helped a ton of people. Like YouTube, if you're looking to build a business, like YouTube is like one of the best ways to go. So I wasn't like trying to like crap on like consulting or anything. Like it's changed my life. But what I'm saying is, like, back to what you were saying, the algorithm has a lot to do with it. Like if you put out 50 to 100 YouTube videos, like hopefully you'll get lucky on a couple and it'll blow up your channel, but there's no guarantees, because there's just so many things, like as a YouTube content creator, that you have to take into consideration.
Yeah.
And you can trust in the process. Like if you trust in it long enough, like you'll have success with it. Like no doubts. Like I've done it myself, but like a lot of it is like up to the algorithm and like current events and like getting lucky a lot of times on YouTube. Cause I posted over 2,000 videos, but with Amazon, it's a lot more predictable. Like when you send in 50 books, like you're 95% sure that those books are going to sell, because you have all the data to like make good decisions. With YouTube, you can do all your research and stuff. And I love YouTube again. Like I'm obsessed with it. Like that's how I built my business originally as well. But it's a lot less predictable, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I feel like, again, when you guys had mentioned this opportunity, I get a lot of people that are emailing me wanting to like to come on and talk about things, and I'm like, it's like I was really interested in what you guys had to say, because I feel like it's something where someone just getting started out in business, they can get some confidence knowing that they can like do this and then they can see the result immediately. Whereas it's like with YouTube, it might be like it's a year down the road. It's like, okay, well, we're going to create this YouTube channel. You're going to create all these videos, and then we're going to create an email list, and then you're going to have to build a product, and then you're going to have to send copy and on all. It's like a lot of things. And it's like, it's a long time before you actually see any kind of money and any kind of result, and people get discouraged. Whereas it's like, I'm looking for more of these kind of things to suggest to my members, where it's like, okay, here's something where, and maybe you don't end here, but you can get started here. You can do this right now, and then you can make some money, and maybe you're not making a huge amount of money, but now you get that confidence. Because for me, like as an entrepreneur, When I made that first $5 online selling an ebook online, that was like or actually it was affiliate revenue from my blog, right? That was more important to me than the salary I was making at my job, because I was like, I made money myself. Now I had like that belief, and that was what allowed me to do everything else. And so I'm looking for more of these type of things, and I feel like this is a great one because it'll get people that belief to say, okay, I did this. I found this book myself. I shipped it to Amazon. I sold it, and here's money that I actually made from it. And and then once they, because I think so many people, like probably even listening now, they're like they're listening to what we're saying, and they're like, yeah, that sounds good, but they don't really actually believe that they could do it and make money. Because I was there with business. I was like, I can't make money online. It seems too easy. There's no way you can make money online. But then once I had overcome that hurdle, then all of a sudden the whole world opened to me.
Yeah, you can start making money pretty quick once you get your Amazon account set up, and we'll be talking more about this in the training that you mentioned previously. But once you get your account set up and you learn some of the basics, it's not very complicated. Once you start sending in your first box of books, they'll start selling within a couple of days or so. Some of them right when they hit the warehouse, because when you ship your books to Amazon, they have their workers there, and then they I don't know how they do it, but they essentially turn the on button on where everything's listed, right? So once everything gets checked into Amazon, I mean, things could sell instantly. I mean, I used to a couple of years ago, I used to go to a bunch of stores during Christmas time, and I'd buy all different types of toys and stuff, and I'd send hundreds of thousands of items out. And some days I would make $5,000-$10,000 in sales just instantly within an hour. And you do that with textbooks as well. Mm-hmm. You send in 50, 100, 200 textbooks during textbook season. I mean, these things can take off.
Yeah. That was how I made my first money originally. Was I worked so hard. I used to take selfie pictures of me in the textbook and post it on Amazon because I thought psychologically it would trigger.
You never told me that.
Yeah,
that's a weirdo type of move.
I'll post a picture. I'll show you a picture. There's a picture of my Instagram. I'd be like that. And I don't know if it worked or not. I don't do it anymore. But that was the first time I ever got paid. Was doing that. And I wasn't making any money selling the books for my friends. I would just give them all the profit. I was probably actually paying them more because I didn't understand the Amazon fees. I saw that it sold for $60. I probably paid them close to 60 instead of subtracting the fees. So it could be like a gateway drug for e-commerce, for making money online, really for e-commerce. Because if you start making money with books, I know tons of people who they didn't want to scale a book business. They didn't want to go this route. So instead they were like, okay, I'm making $10,000 a month with books, but I don't want to do this anymore. I want to take it to wholesaler. I want to take it to private label. And it gives you the skill of not creating a listing on Amazon, but selling and listing multiple, being a bookseller, you have thousands of listings.
You're learning Amazon. You're learning how to use the number one largest platform in the world. You're not learning books. You're not building the book business skill. You're learning how to sell on Amazon.
Yeah. So you're learning all the ins and outs of the listings. Most wholesalers only have a couple hundred listings, but being an Amazon bookseller, you have thousands of listings because every book has its unique listing. You really learn how to ship, you learn the whole process. And then these other businesses like wholesale and private label just aren't intimidating anymore because you understand it.
You could start for a couple $100s. That's one of the greatest things about this business. You could start for less than $100. If you have some books around your house, you go out and buy 10 books for $10. You buy a little scanner. We're going to talk more about that later on, but it's not a business where we're telling you you got to go spend $3,000 and then, you know what I'm saying? A lot of businesses take thousands. Imagine if you want to start a pizzeria, what's that going to cost? $50,000 to get started? I mean, I don't know. I love pizza. So, but this is a business where you can get your foot in. You can learn how to use Amazon. You get started for a little bit of money, and you can find out real quick if this is for you or not. If it is, great. If not, then, at least you said, you tried it.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I really like that. I think that's good. I feel like this is something that's approachable to people to actually get started because, again, people read Millionaire Fastlane and they're like, but what do I actually do? And I think this is one where someone can say, okay, well, I can just do this, and it's a proven path. And even if you don't end up, going all the way down the path, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and you don't have to handle all the crap that eBay requires you to do, all the shipping and listing and pictures and all the annoying stuff and holding inventory. Literally this business, you just go, you find stuff, you ship it out, and you're essentially done. It's a simple business. Obviously there's a lot in between, but it's simple.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. Cool. All right, well, yeah, I think we're kind of out of time for today, but I appreciate you guys coming on here and sharing. It looks like there a lot of people are interested in this, and that's good. So, I definitely wanted to, and guys, let me know if if you like this kind of stuff of finding more of these. I'm looking for simple business ideas. That's what I've been kind of feel like I really want to find more of these opportunities. So guys, let me know what you think about this. And like I said, click the link down below to sign up for the webinar, because we didn't really go into like the details of the operation, and Avery and Steve are gonna go into it and give you kind of exactly what they're doing for success, and some Q&A and all that stuff, so when we can go in more depth. But make sure you sign up. Like I said, the webinar is completely free, and you don't have to buy anything if you don't want to. Not there's no pressure. Like I just want to present you guys some good opportunities here, so go check it out, definitely. And yeah, any parting words you guys want to say about?
Nope. Go out there, get after it, guys. This is real. And yeah, that's all I got. Follow me on Instagram, YouTube. Romer the Roamer is my other ego, I guess. That's my social media name, my alter ego. And yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, looking forward to adding value, helping you guys out even more. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you on the free training. And yeah, any questions you have, if you have questions about selling books, just comment down below on his channel. I'll come in, I'll answer any questions you guys have. Make sure to give John a big thumbs up on this video. And yeah, I'm enjoying the Bulldog mindset as well. I joined about 40, maybe 30, 40, maybe 45 days ago, and I've really been enjoying it. The content is fantastic. And when it comes to business, it's all mindset. I've spent not hundreds, but last year I spent almost $20,000 just on Tony Robbins. Like, I'm huge into self-development stuff. Yeah. And a lot of the stuff that I learned spending thousands, I'm relearning it again in your content.
I gotta go subscribe, man.
You gotta get into Bulldog, man.
I need to start watching some videos.
Appreciate you, John.
Yeah.